I guess it was last month, wasn't it, Tony? By October, late
December,
October, maybe
like
early
that.
December.
Yeah.
Tony Morrissey, my buddy from New Milford, is here, and he's been fighting this opioid crisis for a while, and he's come up with what they call Brian Codys Law. Well, it was his son who he lost to the opioid epidemic. It was like last year, right? Back in 2018 or 19?
2019.
2019, all right. But he is here again this morning. I told him, come back anytime. Our door's always open if you have an update or anything like that. And you do have some new interesting information about Brian Codys Law. First off, tell us about the law first. Tell us what that's all about.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Mr. Trotta, for having us in. We've made a lot of developments. In the days after our son passed away, my wife and I, basically stayed up and started crafting ideas for legislation. These ideas, it's actually a collection of ideas that help with a number of different things, from the criminal side of things, insurance guidelines, treatment guidelines. It's a host of ideas that actually, when broken down, as we went through it with our sponsor, Mr. Buckby, it looks like it could be as many as 9 different laws that would hit about 9 different legislative committees. But it addresses those things that we all struggle with, those folks that are on the recovery journey, things that such as when you're looking for treatment, removing the barriers. Like, at no point should anyone ever be told that they can't get treatment when they're ready for it, because it's such an important moment in time when they're ready to really react and make things happen. We've had many stories. People on our Facebook page, hashtag Brian Codys Law, have explained and shared their stories, talking about how their loved one was ready for the recovery journey, but there was no bed, or they were ready, but they couldn't get them to the place in the time that they needed to be there, or they couldn't get in because their urine wasn't dirty, right? They were actually clean, still seeking services and not able to get the help they needed. Those things should end. There should be no impediments to people seeking treatment. There's also some proposals for, enhancements to the criminal side of things. Our son was found in a home that had numerous overdoses in a very, very short period of time. We call that a trap house, where someone goes in and kind of gets stuck, and ultimately, what happened to our son happens. So we've got proposals on how we can maybe fix that problem. We have proposals about, when someone is distributing these narcotics, these opioids, and they sell a batch that kills somebody. We feel like, that dealer should be held to a higher standard. We feel like they should get a minimum charge of manslaughter. So, these are just a couple of the ideas that Brian Codys Law has in its proposal set. We've laid all of these ideas out on our website, which is briancodyslaw.org. That website offers a tremendous amount of information. Not only are there resources and contact information if you are looking for some help, but we also have an outline of the laws and the proposals that we're talking about. But most importantly, we have on the home page, right at the bottom of the home page, we have a form that allows folks to enter their name, share their story if they would like, click a button, and that button, when they click that button, actually sends an email to all the legislators, letting people know that they're behind us. This is a critical time right now. The legislative session just started last week. We called up there yesterday to Hartford and started to inquire about our proposals, and we were told that those proposals may or may not even be looked at this session. Right now, they're kind of contemplating what should be raised and what should be talked about during this short session. So it's a critical time for us to really use that tool on our website, briancodyslaw.org, to let legislators know that this has got to be talked about in this session. This can't wait. We need to open these conversations, and we need to have serious debate on how we go forward. Again, last year in 2019, Connecticut hit historic levels in terms of overdose deaths. The trend is not going the right way. It's a real problem. In the last decade, we lost 500,000 people across America. 500,000. This is a bigger problem than gun violence, which is a huge problem. This is a bigger problem than many other things that we're used to hearing about. This has become exactly what we call it, an epidemic. Kids and good people are dying. They're not not getting the services and the help that they need, even with families who pay top dollar for insurance like mine. Nobody's getting the help that they need. We recently started a campaign. It's called the Click Submit campaign, where we've been doing interviews like this and urging people to go to our website to submit that form. We've created signs, memorial signs and recovery signs. The last order we did, there was 20 signs made. 18 of them were memorial signs. Only 2 were for people in recovery. Now, if that little sampling doesn't show you how big of a problem this is, I don't know how else to describe it to you. It's a real big problem that we've got to come together and address.
And you've come up with an app for this as well, right?
Yes. Again, if you go to briancodyslaw.org, whether on your mobile device or your PC, you'll find the website. Again, the form that I'm referring to is right there on the home page. You just scroll down to the home page, enter your name and your zip code. Again, please enter your story because those are powerful. They help send a message, and then you just click the submit button at the bottom of the page, and you then join our movement. And we really are begging and urging folks to join us. It's a very important time. Again, briancodyslaw.org. You can find that on iOS, Android, or on the web.
So this is a time where the media blitz now because you want these legislators to know that how important this is, because sometimes they're like, well, I don't know, it's just another bill coming up, to see if we can pass this. I don't know, why should we, so right. I can't imagine why there would be opposition, but you were mentioning a couple of things why a legislator might say. You said you had a little bit of opposition in the up in Hartford for this.
Yeah. I mean, like everything, there are objectors, and we understand actually the opposing arguments. We don't hold grudges. We're not getting angry about it. We have to have a dialogue, right? Let's find that middle ground. Let's do what we're supposed to when it comes to politics and law. Let's find the middle ground, find things that make sense, find common sense solutions to these problems. To do nothing is just going to let these alarming rates of overdose deaths continue.
And even if you don't have a story, like you said, people are sending you the stories on the site, and this way they can get their name in. Even if you don't have a story, this is a good way to support this legislation before it does affect your family or your friends or a loved one.
Well, I have to. Yeah, that's a very good point. Thanks, Mr. Morning. You may not be directly impacted. I had a conversation about this with a friend at work. You may not be directly impacted like my wife Tracy and I. However, if you've got children, look at the statistics from the survey. Like New Milford did a survey, and the behaviors and the at-risk concerns that are going on up there. If you've got a child, you are at risk. Your family should be concerned with this. If you don't have children and you just you are a community member, these overdose deaths and this activity does impact you as well. So it's not just limited to the people who lost their children or the people who are trying to support somebody on their recovery journey. This really, truly does impact the whole community. No one is immune from this problem. In time, hopefully it doesn't, but in time, you will see the effects of what's going on if we don't do anything.
And our young people are dying in record numbers, and you can help. All you have to do is, again, go to the website. Again, give the website.
It's briancodyslaw.org. Homepage, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there's a form. Again, like Mr. Morning said, you don't have to contribute a story, but you can. We encourage you to do so. But please click submit and help us let legislators know that this is an important topic. It has to be talked about this legislative session, and let them know that there's a coalition behind this.
Okay, well that sounds good. Hey, I'm glad you could stop by again. You brought your lovely wife Tracy with you, and I'm glad you could stop by and give us the latest update, because we're always interested. Anytime you have anything, our door is always open for you. I know you wanted to do a quick birthday shout.
Yes, today is my nephew Casey Villa's 17th birthday. Happy birthday, Casey. We love you very much. Keep doing what you're doing. We're proud of you.
All right, there you go. It's Tony Morrissey from New Milford trying to get this Brian Codys Law enacted and through the legislation in Hartford. And best of luck with this. And I think you got it, Tony. I know you got this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your support.
You guys have the fight and you have the drive, and hopefully we can get this into law, and we'll probably help hundreds, if not thousands, of people right here in the Connecticut area.
We already have, but thank you for continued support here. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for coming in this morning.